Welcome back to University Speaks, the show by students for students. I'm Devin Virissimo.
And I'm Vanessa Lauren. Today we start with a recap of how the COVID-19 pandemic has affected our community over the past year.
The first confirmed case hit Clark County March 5th of 2020. Then on March 23rd, President Marta Biena announced nearly 5,000 courses would begin to be taught remotely.
2 days after that, the first 2 confirmed COVID cases were reported, and then on March 27th, the canceling and postponement of all in-person events on campus was announced, including sports, fine arts, and even the 2020 commencement ceremony.
It was an unthinkable time and extremely stressful for a lot of us here. But here we are, 1 year later, making the most of our opportunities.
That's right. Indeed we are. Now we're halfway through the 2021 spring semester, and with the COVID vaccine being distributed just a couple hundred feet away, events are slowly starting to make their comeback. Here are just a few that you can look out for this month.
Some things are still virtual, like the Lee Business School's 10-Minute Tuesdays events, which include advice from business professionals on job opportunities, internships, and helpful career tips. You can contact victoria.mitchell@unlv.edu for more info.
Also happening now, the Women's Research Institute of Nevada and CSUN are looking for candidates for their new Leadership Empowerment Scholarship. They're accepting applications through April 3rd. You can nominate yourself or a friend by contacting newl@unlv.edu.
And if you're looking for something fun and informative, check out the Marjorie Barrick Museum of Art. They have several events that are free with reservations happening on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 10 to 4.
Lastly, if you're brave enough, you can head on down to Open Mic Night inside the Student Union Theater on March 25th at 5 p.m. That event is also free, and in the meantime, the Student Union is being utilized as one of the distribution sites for the COVID-19 vaccine. Here's more of that story.
Vaccines are distributed more frequently at UNLV, but there is still hesitation due to the speed in which it was released. Our reporter Anna was able to get a closer look at the vaccine distribution here on campus.
UNLV began distributing Moderna and Pfizer vaccines on January 11th at the Student Union. People are admitted by appointment, where they must show their confirmation email, ID, and have their temperature scanned before entering. It is open to faculty and student workers, but many have become skeptical of the vaccine and its side effects.
I saw one report. It was really great because that's been a big concern. Well, it came out so quick. Can you really trust it? But you know, the tests are legitimate. They've had thousands of people who have volunteered to be vaccinated and go through those trials. And again, it's something they have been looking at for a long time. It wasn't just something recent that, oh, coronavirus just popped up and we never heard of it. No, it's something they've been studying for a long time.
About 200 UNLV students became contact tracers in order to minimize the spread, including graduate student Darren Maines.
If someone tests positive and they expose 10 or 14 people or more than that, then those 10 or 14 people can expose more people. So if we stop it at the source and tell them to quarantine, that reduces the spread of it going to other people.
No individuals have contracted COVID-19 due to either doses of the vaccines, and those who have had side effects can report it to a UNLV app called Daily vSafe Check-in.
In order to achieve herd immunity, approximately 70% of the population needs to be vaccinated. Tier 2 target groups are currently being vaccinated, but the general public's availability won't be available until late May or early June. You know, that's a pretty good look from Anna right there. And a lot of people are curious about how the vaccination process works and who is being tasked with distributing such an important medical breakthrough.
That's right. The amount of individuals needing a vaccination is a lot higher than the amount of people giving them. So how do we solve that problem? Well, University Speaks reporter LEENA ATOUT has the answers.
COVID cases are going down and the number of vaccinated people is going up. UNLV has become one of the many COVID vaccination sites in Las Vegas, and as more groups become able to take the vaccine, the volunteers have been one of the critical parts that make the UNLV vaccination site work well.
Opening up a vaccine distribution site in UNLV is a difficult task to manage well. Yet, the volunteers are critical to the success of the process. Many UNLV students have signed up to volunteer throughout the past few months. The shifts are 4 hours each. The morning shift is from 7 a.m. to 12 p.m., and the afternoon shift is from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m.
When you look at the volunteers, and we consider our students volunteers, we consider, we also have different people from the school, from UNLV, from CSN, from all of the different schools that are helping us. It's from check-in. when somebody actually comes in the door, to helping us with the lines, to doing the actual vaccinations, to helping people through how knowing what's going to happen if they have any symptoms and reporting their symptoms, to monitoring for health reasons. We could not do this operation without the volunteers.
Although the process of receiving a vaccine may seem daunting, the process is actually very simple.
First, you have to enroll online. That's the first thing. You have to go to a website, enroll. Then the person has to be registered. And so we put them into our electronic medical record system. So once they're in the electronic medical record system, then they receive an appointment. Then they come and they check in. So once they check in, we have to make sure they are eligible. We do get people that show up that are not eligible. They then have to get their vaccination. And once they get their vaccination, the actual shot, they then go through a V-Safe line, and that is, the V-Safe is the system where you're reporting your how you're doing. Do you have any effects from the shot? Is there anything that's happening? We report that to the different entities so we can track it throughout the United States. Then they sit down for 15 minutes or 30 minutes, depending on the individual situation, and we monitor to make sure everybody's safe and healthy.
From the volunteers to the medical staff, everyone helps the vaccine site run smoothly to make sure everyone can get vaccinated.
If you are interested in helping out the UNLV vaccination site, you can sign up to volunteer at www.givepulse.com and search UNLV COVID-19 Vaccine Pod Volunteers.
Thanks, LEENA. They say volunteers don't necessarily have the time, but they do have the heart, which sounds similar to how most students would describe their teachers.
You know, I would definitely describe a few of my teachers like that, especially this next teacher who spoke with University Speaks reporter Mia NAKAMURA.
We always hear about a student's perspective when it comes to online school. But what about the teacher's perspective? Well, I interviewed Ben Morse, a visiting lecturer at UNLV, to talk about his experience dealing with online school.
Welcome, as always, to journalism. I was about to say something completely different. I couldn't even tell you.
Ben Morse has been a visiting lecturer at UNLV since January of 2018. He had only been teaching for about 2 years until the pandemic hit.
I think there's a lot of responsibility on teachers because this sucks for students.
Although the online school experience has been tough on most people, Professor Morse recognizes the bright side of things.
The fact that there is a web chat running on the side of my class, and when I have 100 students, I can have 50 of them having like a great conversation about TikTok in the chat while I'm also lecturing. Like, that's cool. And that's a good thing.
Now that you know a little more about who is on the other side of the screen, remember to turn your camera on and participate in class.
Thanks, Mia. Glad to see Ben is doing well. We were actually in his first virtual class last spring.
That's right, we were. And you know, he really made that transition look really simple. I'm sure it was really difficult, but he was on WebEx the next day, no sweat. He really cares about his students and what they can get out of their education.
You know, another teacher that puts a lot of energy into helping his students is the one who made time to speak with University Speaks reporter Katorah Thomas.
As we get for another graduation, upperclassmen are hunkering down on those last credits, and for some majors trying to secure an internship. I got the chance to speak to Greenspun's very own internship coordinator, Dr. NOURSE, on some things that put my mind at ease and hopefully yours too. Every semester, college students across the country find themselves on the quest of looking for an internship. Some stumble into the perfect position, while others have to search a little harder. But where do we start? I had a conversation with Greenspun's internship coordinator, Dr. David Norse, and my first question was, why we need an internship?
The internship is a great way to get your foot in the door, to let folks know, hey, this is who I am, this is what I'm all about, these are the skills that I bring to the table. Because at the end of the day, if you can get your foot in the door, even if it's an unpaid position, but they get to know you, they get to know your work ethic, they get to see just how tenacious you are and what a valuable resource you'll be to that particular organization. If they're looking to hire somebody, do you think they're going to start with the people they already have in-house, the people that they already know can get the job done? The answer is obviously yes.
What should we, as students, expect while we're in a pandemic?
The rise of remote internships has really given our students a lot more opportunities that they had accessible prior to COVID, interestingly enough. And that is because Now you have the ability to intern in LA or Chicago or New York or Dallas or so on and so forth. Anywhere, any organization that is willing to mentor one of our students, that's fantastic, and we say yes.
What is the Handshake app?
I think Handshake is a great tool. It is offered by UNLV Career Services. The mission of UNLV's Career Service Center is to help our students and alumni find employment, right? So the Handshake app is a great opportunity for you as a job seeker to get in touch with potential employers that are looking to hire UNLV graduates. I would also highly encourage you to chat with the folks at UNLV's Career Service Center.
How can we get on the right track?
If it's hard finding an internship, I get that. Work with me. I will always provide a list of different internship sites that are looking for folks.
I hope that information gave you peace of mind, but if you still have questions, go talk to an advisor at unlv.edu/career services.
Thanks, Katorah. Navigating college can be challenging, especially when you're uncertain about what you want to do after college. That's why the Graduate and Professional Student Association has started a mentorship program at UNLV. In today's Student Spotlight, I spoke with mentor Anthony Anjul Valles, who knows a thing or two about changing his mind.
My name is Anthony Anjuli Valles. I'm originally from New York City, but grew up 20 years, give or take, in Henderson and Las Vegas. So I consider Las Vegas and Henderson home more than anything else because it's been a larger proportion of my life. After high school, I went to begin my undergraduate studies at Tufts University in Medford, Massachusetts. I transferred back to UNLV in 2007. What I ended up doing was pursuing psychology as my major and actually completed my minor in biology. I graduated in December of 2009. After I graduated, like many students, you realize that you're like, wow, I have worked my butt off. I've been doing so much for so long. I need a break from education. So I took a little bit of time off, then progressed back into postgraduate studies as a pre-medical student. Applied to medical school and actually matriculated in medical school in 2013. After a very short stint in Chicago as a family medicine resident, I decided that I was not fulfilled. So I took the LSAT, applied to a number of programs, and UNLV, William S. Boyd School of Law was the first to accept me 2 days after I submitted my applications. But what UNLV does right is they make the education about you. Not a lot of educational programs in the collegiate setting say the same. The mentorship program is new this year, and I think that it's something that people have been stewing on for years, thinking what can we do to liaise between, undergraduate students and graduate students. So the way that they've structured the program is a 1 meeting a month requirement. We didn't have a list of questions to go through. It was about getting to know the individual mentees, sharing our experiences, but really crafting what we think would be beneficial for the mentees and their needs at this time. For me, it was the first opportunity that was put in front of me as a law student where I actually felt that I could have a direct impact. For me to be able to be a mentor to undergraduate students of all levels, knowing that I've come from 3 different career fields at this point, I really thought that I could give perspective no matter who they were, no matter what their challenges were, no matter what their future may or may not look like. And I think there's this innate drive to say, I've got it. I can figure it out. I think that the rise of technology and social media, it sort of left people to sort of fend for themselves. It is okay to ask for help, to seek advice. It does not devalue you. If I was to speak directly to an undergraduate student who is struggling between their options, I would say this is the time to seek a mentor. Do not compare yourselves to others that are going through the educational process with you. If you get so hung up on looking at what others are doing, you fail to see your own glory.
I really enjoyed the advice he had to share, and since he's an expert in multiple fields, I had to ask him this very important question.
Crunchy or smooth peanut butter?
Smooth.
Yeah.
I didn't even have to think about that. Smooth peanut butter. I don't know anybody who likes crunchy peanut butter. I do, but I don't know aggressively because, you know, the crunchy peanut butter people, they like to keep it under wraps.
There you have it. It's the debate is over.
Oh, come on, man.
It's smooth peanut butter.
Crunchy. I'm telling you, now we'll hang out and I'll tell him that crunchy is the way to go.
You can't convert any more people. It's over.
Dang.
If you're interested in the mentorship program, you can contact them at gpsa@unlv.edu. And if you know a student that could be nominated for the Student Spotlight, you can send it to us at UNIVSpeaksUNLV or send it to me directly at V from the LV.
It has been a year since COVID-19 stopped all sporting events and took away the final season for those seniors about to graduate. But thanks to those new policies, those who missed out can return to the sport they love for their last chance at the championship. I met up with one Rebel who told us more about his journey and where his team is going. This month last year, Division I baseball was well underway and teams were beginning to find out their own identities until the COVID-19 pandemic brought everything to a screeching halt.
Last year I was over in Santa Clara University for my senior year. I remember we were getting ready to go up to Gonzaga for our series there, and we got the call like, hey, we might not be able to go over there because this thing called COVID's kind of getting rampant over there. About a couple days later, I was like, all right, the whole season's done for the year. And that's when kind of panic set in, because as a senior, you don't know what's going to happen. And then, yeah, I mean, it was a waiting game from there.
That newfound downtime was brutal in comparison to what should have been a great final season for Alex. That is, until May 30th, when he heard some incredible news.
The NCAA decided to create the COVID eligibility rule, and everyone gets an extra year. So I decided that if I get one more year and I already graduated from school, either I could go back and pursue a master's program at Santa Clara or here at UNLV. So I contacted the coaches and decided that I wanted to come here, and I talked to my Santa Clara coaches, and I was put in the transfer portal. And yeah, so I started making that transition, and I came back home and play here.
Now with a new opportunity to play in his hometown as a fifth-year senior, things will be different and sacrifices will be made in order to play out the season without any setbacks.
We understand that there's other outside factors, so we have to make a lot of sacrifices this year, as in like, hey, we can't go out to dinner because, you know, you can't go to a restaurant, or it might be someone's birthday and you can't go visit a friend for their birthday, you might have to stay home. So there's a lot of different rules outside of baseball. And now here, you know, we have these gaiters, we have to wear them whenever we're close to someone, socially distanced. There's going to be no fans at the games for now. So that's going to be tough because it feels kind of like a practice, right, when you're playing a game, but it's a real game. I mean, we have to socially distance the dugout. We're not even going to have everyone in the dugout. We're going to be sitting out here in the stands. So that just makes the game feel a little different, but it is what it is, and everyone deals with it.
And what an accomplishment it would be to bring home the trophy in a year meant to challenge even the best teams.
Think about it, if you can achieve it in a year of madness and COVID, and you win a World Series in that, I mean, then it's probably even more special in a way because a lot of people are going through a lot of things. So I think that's what excites me the most, that everyone wants to do this during hard times. It's not that they're being forced to, they want to. So that grind and that grit is there. And I think as a team, we're shaping up pretty well. You know, we're a week away from season, and we're looking pretty good. Hitting is looking good, pitching's coming around, and defense was solid. So I think we're going to have something good here.
COVID-19 has not stopped hanging around and has pushed the Rebels' season debut back 1 week. And we wish them nothing but the best this upcoming season and hope to follow up with them after they win it all.
That COVID eligibility rule is like a real game changer. It already takes so much dedication to be an athlete, but to be an athlete in COVID just intensifies.
Yeah, and that's just the collegiate level. You know, those at the high school level are facing their own sets of challenges, and University Speaks reporter DOMINIC LAVOIE has that story.
The COVID-19 pandemic has forced the cancellation of numerous sporting events across the Valley, including our own hockey season here at UNLV. However, there are teams in the Valley that have found ways to continue their season even through these unprecedented circumstances.
Meet the Faith Lutheran Crusaders, Nevada's most renowned high school hockey program in only their 3rd year of operation. Coached by former National Hockey League players Pokey Reddick and Shane Knighty, The team was supposed to embark on their inaugural season in the Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League. However, the COVID-19 pandemic has forced the postponement of that season.
Well, just the COVID pandemic, it's been very challenging to say the least. So many states were shut down that the amount of teams we could find to play against were very slim. We ended up going to a lot of Idaho, Texas, and Utah. Those 3 states were open, so we just did a grassroots effort and beat the bushes and picked up the telephone and found teams to play. We ended up getting about 35 games for the varsity squad.
You know, that we've been traveling a lot, it's kind of helped to build the team together, bond a little bit more than usual. So overall, it shaped us as a better team and taught us a lot about ourselves. Competition has been pretty good, you know. It's given us a run for our money, which is, you know, good. It helps us practice hard, work hard, everything we do. That way we can come out on the ice and perform our best.
Honestly, they aren't as important as we can find games other places. You know, league play still is important. There's a high skill level in that league, but it hasn't killed our season in regards to preparing for that.
High school's in Omaha, Nebraska this year, which is a rather rural part of the country. That kind of helps keep the COVID numbers down, if you will. They've done extreme measures. They've got a whole team working on it. I understand that the entire city is going to be really, really well swept and kept. Sanitation at every level, at every rink, strict mask protocol. They're very serious about keeping it very, very clean.
That's the latest from City National Arena. Dominic LAVOIE reporting for University Speaks.
I'll be honest, I was not aware the Crusaders were coached by those former NHL players.
I was not aware that Faith had a hockey team, let alone that practices happen at 5 in the morning. So thank you for that, Dom.
If all of these sports are getting you anxious for some competition, University Speaks reporter Alexa Miller has something pretty unique for you.
The beginning of February brought some thrilling new attractions to Las Vegas at Area 15. And while they have been open for a couple weeks now, I was able to get a sneak peek of all the fun just before opening day.
It's exciting. It's yummy. It's adventurous. It's all the new attractions Area 15 has to offer. First, tee off at 5-Iron Golf, an immersive virtual golfing experience. Here you can grab friends, drinks, and a set of clubs as you put your golfing skills to the test with their state-of-the-art simulators. Not only can you have a fun night out, but if you want to really step up your golf game, 5-Iron Golf also offers lessons and custom club fittings. And once you've worked up an appetite, head over to Area 15's one and only restaurant, The Beast by TODD English.
And create an environment that, you know, is familiar but unfamiliar. It has some, you know, little twists, has some excitement, has some fun. It's playful and a little dramatic, as you can tell.
The Beast is a live kitchen where tables and guests are centered around as you watch the chefs prepare your food right in front of you. While the restaurant is primarily barbecue, with over 90 items on the menu, you are sure to find something tasty.
And after you've grabbed a bite to eat, hit the Emporium Bar and Arcade and show us how you game.
At the Emporium Arcade Bar, you can play old school games like pinball, skee ball, and pool for just a couple quarters. And of course, grab a signature cocktail as you relax and wind down your night.
So I think we complement Area 15 well because there's a lot of great experiences here that are very immersive. We're a little bit more, you know, laid back party kind of atmosphere. So
wherever your adventure takes you, you are guaranteed to have out of this world fun with all the new attractions offered at Area 15.
Experience the amusement for yourself at Area 15, located at 3215 South Rancho Drive. And before you go, be sure to secure a free general admission ticket on their website at area15.com.
Thanks, Alexa. And that is our show today. We wish everyone good luck on those midterms and a safe spring break.
If you're looking for some spring break ideas, follow us on social media at UNIV Speaks, UNLV, where we'll be sharing our tips and tricks on how to stay safe and have fun during the break.
That's right. What are you doing for a break?
To be totally honest, I'll probably hang out at the house, watch some movies with Chewy, and try to honestly maybe hit the gym a couple times. What about you?
Right. I'm actually doing the Alt Breaks virtual Zoom-in service trip. Gonna do some social justice work. You know?
That's gonna be really cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. So we hope you guys have a great time off, and we'll see you for the next episode of University Speaks.
See ya.